with the red light, right?
Is it rolling?
Yeah, but you can't see Troy.
Don't need to.
Okay.
Can you see me?
Yeah.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe Imbriano. We're out in front of Troy High School again. After this weekend, today's the 24th of October, on Halloween we're having a speaker over at Cal State Fullerton. His name is Milo. And all you have to do is Google this guy. He's got a lot of people following him. He's really become somewhat of an iconic figure in terms of free speech. And he's kind of a bull in a china shop in a sense, but you know, he's really got some people up in arms, especially in this community. Did you know that Cal State Fullerton actually tried to keep him from appearing as a speaker at that public university? They actually tried to keep him out. Now, I want to talk to you about the First Amendment because people died barefoot in the snow under a blue sky for our right to sit here and have a conversation. They died and bled out under a blue sky on white snow for our flag to be red, white, and blue. That's why we have a red, white, and blue flag, ladies and gentlemen. The educational system in this community is evil. And I don't take that lightly. I make that statement with complete certainty. There is no freedom of academic expression in the Fullerton Joint Union High School District, or in the Cal State Fullerton, or in the Fullerton Junior College. These schools are run by psychotic liberals. All you have to do is look at the curriculum. All you have to do is look at their behavior when it comes to dissenting opinions. All you have to do is look at the behavior of these individuals when certain specific elements are brought to their attention about what they're directly involved in. Now, I don't make this statement lightly, but I will tell you this: there is no academic freedom in this community. I've been censored numerous times on various social media platforms, YouTube, Next Door Neighbor, local blogs. I could go on and on about all the different people that have a problem with what I say, but we've got somebody coming to town on Monday, and a lot of people got a problem with what he's got to say, because let me tell you why. He is an open homosexual, ostensibly an extreme right-wing conservative who bashes feminism. Now, that's quite a sentence, and that's quite a mess, and that's quite a hodgepodge of facts, but I will tell you something. It's designed to be that way. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not about alt-right, it's not about alt-left, it's not about right or left, it's not about any of this conservative versus liberal, it is not about any of that nonsense. These are categories that they've created to divide us and to conquer us and to control us. Ladies and gentlemen, there's only one paradigm, and that is freedom versus tyranny. Now, we're out here in front of this high school billboard once again because Troy High School is the capital of mind control of Orange County. This school is a magnet school that brings in children from all over the county, the highest IQs, the best and the brightest in the county of Orange. They take them to school here, they drop them off. Some people get up at 4:30 in the morning, they drive in from Corona, 20, 30, 50, 60 miles away, hour commute. I've seen these kids getting dropped off in the morning, they're sleep deprived, they don't get any sleep, they have to get up too early, they've done too much homework. But this is where the best and the brightest come. And do you know what they're taught? They're taught an atheistic, godless, Marxist, liberal, left-leaning agenda that has no basis in reality or fact. It is all theory taught as fact. And let me explain this to you. Inside the walls of this school, these children are taught that they came from a rock. There is no explanation of how 75,000 miles of circulatory system was placed in their body. And there's no explanation as to how in a billionth of a second they came into being the size of something you need an electron microscope to see, and they turn into a full-fledged human being at an adult age capable of having their own children. Ladies and gentlemen, this facility is involved in censoring truth. This facility is involved in stifling dissent. Mr. Minster today, the principal of this school, was quoted as calling Milo a provocateur. I could tell you right now, the provocateur in this high school is not Mr. Milo. It is Mr. Minster. And let me tell you how he's provocateuring. This school has metal walls. This school has installed Ruckus 710 wireless access points in each classroom. This school is undergoing an epidemic of migraine headaches and insomnia and chronic health problems with these students. A Ruckus 710 wireless access point is capable of handling up to 510 wireless devices. Now, why did they put the Ruckus 710 in these classrooms? Because the problem is, with this school's metal walls, the signal has to be strong enough to penetrate the steel. They are microwaving children here. Mr. Minster is provocateuring the student body. But, unbeknownst to the student body, they are being anesthetized by the actual emissions themselves. They're being anesthetized by the curriculum. They're being anesthetized by the terrible air quality. They are being anesthetized by the fluoridated water they're forced to drink here. They are being anesthetized by the rote repetition Common Core curriculum that is dumbing them down. All at the same time, ostensibly acting as the savior and the only way for these children to move ahead. This has to be, in the minds of these students, something to get through and to succeed in and to excel here. This is the antithesis of what the United States was founded on. You cannot tell me, based on the curriculum that's taught in this school, that we went to the moon. You take a look at the jalopy that they put in these textbooks called the Apollo module. It's a piece of junk, but they teach these children that rockets went to the moon with 1960s technology when we didn't even have plastics for the most part. We are lying to these children. These children are required to have up to 70 vaccines to get into this school. These children are required to sit all day in these classrooms and be taught these lies. These children are being taught not to listen to opposing opinions. These children are being taught the lies of feminism and how men are evil. These children are being taught how to embrace an invasion of our country by illegal aliens. These children are being taught to worship a government that has a history of butchery and lies and tyranny. This school is teaching these children not to think, while these children actually believe that they're so smart that they don't need to listen to anybody. Ladies and gentlemen, when Milo comes to town here on Monday, I don't know what's going to happen. I do know that the police department is very concerned. I know that the police department is working with the federal government and federal law enforcement agents because they quite possibly are expecting some sort of disturbance here. They're quite possibly expecting maybe an Antifa uprising or some sort of social unrest. The schools are closing early in anticipation of this event. Now, why are the schools so concerned about this person, and why are the schools so concerned about what this man has to say? Well, aside from the fact that what he says is truth mixed with garbage, a lot of what he has to say is a direct assault on the lies and the stranglehold that this school has on the minds of these children. Now, this is how the elite play the paradigm. They'll take somebody who's got a lot of truth and mix up a whole bunch of lies and a bunch of crap and stir it into a pot and coalesce it and put a label on it and say, here you go. Well, that's what they've done with Milo, okay? Milo is not a conservative. Milo courts white supremacists. He bashes Muslims. He is a white nationalist. He is a Trump supporter. He is a LGBT supporter. Now, what I've just said to you is like a compass in the presence of a magnet. The needle spins around and around and around. This guy is an operative, quite possibly of Soros or some of the other internationalists. He's coming to town, quite possibly, to start trouble here. And there could be a lot of trouble because Fullerton is an Agenda 21 city, and there's a very good possibility that we could have some sort of unrest here that could get out of hand, and it may be intentional. I'm here to tell you that the Cal State Fullerton staff, including all the way up to the chancellor, Ms. Mildred Garcia, has a serious problem with free speech. And his free speech is really no different than pornography. It's really no different than a genocide awareness program that was put on by the Center for Bioethical Reform years ago when they tried to bring pictures of what aborted babies look like on the campus to teach these children what abortion does to children and what abortion does to the mothers. That was suppressed. We can't get anybody on that campus to talk about Jesus Christ in an open forum. We can't get people on that campus to talk about things of morality and constitutional values. But we can get people on that campus that can show pictures of decapitated Americans, flag burning, La Raza, Mecha, La Reconquista. We can have all these things. But mom and dad and traditional values packaged as mom and dad and traditional values and true common sense, not the lies of scientism, not the lies of evolution, not the lies of these phony economic models that they're foisting, not the lies of modern medicine. All those things are preached as gospel truth inside the facility here at Troy High School and at the colleges. Now, these schools are all controlled top-down like a military operation. These school boards are bought and paid for lock, stock, and barrel by the teachers' union. The teachers' union does not give a damn about these kids. The teachers' union cares about their salary and their benefits and their retirement and how many days off a year they get. How do I know this? Aside from the fact I live on a street with several of them and I observe their behavior and their comings and goings, I know that when money was tight for these teachers, because $100,000 a year is not enough for 6 months' work, they shut their doors at lunchtime. It wouldn't help the kids. They shut the library down. And then they find $28 million in the budget here, found money after we were raising issues of where that money came from and how there was probably impropriety in their bookkeeping. They had their hands out. Anytime there's a problem at this school, they're going to be out here on the sidewalk with signs saying, "Give us more money." When we're out here on this sidewalk trying to protect these children against these monsters here from this radiation biology experiment that they're conducting on these students, the teachers tell us to get off the sidewalk because this is their sidewalk and they don't want us interfering with their protest over their salary. The teachers are one of the biggest problems in America. Free speech is under attack in this country, ladies and gentlemen. The schools are the enemy of the minds of the children. You know, Pink Floyd had a great song years ago, and these places teach your children to become a brick in the wall, where they cannot survive unless they're part of the system. Let me tell you something, folks. What comes out of this school are people that will serve the system. What comes out of Cal State Fullerton are people that serve the system. There's a reason why so much money goes into education. There's a reason why so much time is spent in getting into these children's minds from 5 years old until they're 21, 22, 23, 24. Because they want these children to think what they want them to think. Now let me tell you something. There is no way on God's green earth we went to the moon. That piece of junk spacecraft was a model in a studio. And anybody with any critical thinking skills can look at the pictures of that so-called lunar module that had no blast crater under it, that was made out of paper mache and aluminum foil. That thing did not go 300,000 miles into space in a vacuum and transport astronauts with steel backpacks. It's a joke. Now, why is it that we have 180 IQ kids here that believe that? Why is it that when you present these children with the fact that the autism rates are going through the roof, there are 1 in 60 children in Orange County are getting autism, and yet the school newspaper continues to publish information on how wonderful vaccines are when they're ramming 60, 70 vaccines into these kids before they're even out of junior high? Why is it that these kids have been trained to attack people that question that? That is precisely what the school has done to the children here. These children have attacked the very people that are trying to save them. These children have been trained to have allegiance to the system, to the cadre of servile people that lie to them and deprive them of their ability to learn how to think. Instead, they are having rote repetition rammed down their throats as gospel truth. And anyone that presents anything to the contrary is insane or a conspiracy theorist. And that's the mantra, folks. So here we have Mr. Milo coming on Monday and Tuesday. So what are we going to do about it? Well, we have these people that show up over at Cal State Fullerton saying how the United States needs to end, we need to open the border, and how they need to cut the heads off of all the gabachos. Is that okay? Well, I don't know. Is pornography okay? I don't know. I mean, where do we draw the line with the First Amendment? I can tell you one thing right now. The line for the First Amendment has already been drawn by these goons in the school districts and these goons in the colleges. And the point of this video is to get you to understand that you need to realize that these people are the enemies of the First Amendment, and these people are the enemies of free thought. We had all this stuff go down in the 60s because kids were getting fed up and getting fed into a meat grinder over in Southeast Asia, filling a body bag for oil and for destabilizing a region so they can go in there and mine the resources. So we had academic freedom in the 60s. These kids went to the colleges. They wanted their voice heard. You want your voice heard nowadays? Guess what happens? You get on the wrong side of one of these teachers, and all of a sudden your recommendation letter to the college ends up in the trash. We have proof of that here. We know that's been going on in this school. If you're not on the right side of these teachers, they can break your college-bound career. And they do that intentionally. And the people that run this place are liberal psychotics. There is no other explanation for the behavior. There's no other explanation for the grade suppression here. There's no other explanation for running these kids ragged till 2 in the morning, doing all this homework that means absolutely nothing. Because when these kids come out of here, they can't think. Oh, they can pass a test, but they can't change a tire. Oh, they know how to answer this question about something that happened 500 years ago, but they don't understand what's happening before their very eyes. That's my point. I just want everybody to understand something, ladies and gentlemen. Your tax money is paying for this. And your tax money is paying for law enforcement. Your tax money is being used against you and against your children. All the research that has come out of all these high-end facilities is being controlled. When we talk about the University of California system, the UC system, we have a board of regents. It's like a school board. They control things. They control the purse strings. They control the curriculum. If there was freedom in academia, why did we put the ex-Homeland Security Director in charge of the University of California system? Why is Janet Napolitano running the UC system? To keep a lid on it. Because they have already done all the research. They found the cures to the diseases. They know what causes cancer. They know how to stop it. And what do? They send these kids with 180 IQ down a rabbit hole 20 miles long and 300 feet deep, and they never find what they're supposed to be looking for. Instead, they train them to go off into some distraction, some abstract aspect of some sort of molecular reaction, instead of looking at the big picture of how they've re-engineered the food supply, and they've put cancer viruses in the vaccine, and they've put microwave towers everywhere. They put these Wi-Fi systems in every home, in every classroom, in every car, and we wonder why everybody's getting sick and they're dying. We know that the Rockefellers patented the Zika virus. We know that the SV40 was in the polio shots. We know that these were cancer viruses, and these viruses cause microcephaly, all kinds of other problems. And why are there no discussion of this in these classrooms? Why are these kids believing that the water stays on a spinning ball? How can a mosquito take off if gravity is strong enough to hold an ocean on a spinning ball? Why does the earth look flat? Why is there no curvature when you look at a telescope over 100 miles out to sea? Why is that? Because it's what they want you to think, ladies and gentlemen. They have taken the minds of the children. They have taken this process. They have taken it hostage. And all the parents care about is where their kids going to college and where they're going on vacation. They're not thinking about the future. They're thinking about what they got in the bank and what's for dinner. We're about to lose it all, folks. The government is in the process of running false flags, staging these shootings to disarm the American people. They are going to take the guns. They've already started taking the minds of the children. They've already taken the health of your parents. They've vaccinated your parents. They've drugged your parents. They've medicated your parents. Now they're mind controlling your parents with that stupid television that has nothing but pharmaceutical commercials on it every 3 minutes. And these mindless, stupid programs that your parents and your grandparents stare at instead of looking into their children's eyes. And then we've got Bill Gates, who's invented these video games that has ruined all these young men. And all these young, beautiful girls are looking up to these whores, these sluts, these disgusting, vile women that Disney puts out for us. These monsters that Sumner Redstone from MTV, who has orgies on television swimming in sewage. These are the kind of people that have taken our country over, folks. You need to wake up. I don't know what's going to happen here on Monday. I don't know what's going to happen here on Tuesday. But I will tell you, if you don't make something happen with your own family and your children, and you let these people win, the United States will become a third world cesspool to where it's going to take a sack of beans to get a sack of rice, and you're going to get run over with a steamroller for going to church on Sunday, because that's what happens in these other countries. Once they disarm everybody, once they make everybody afraid of the government, then they start executing the people that wear the glasses, like Pol Pot and the Khmer Rouge did over in Southeast Asia. And then you got Stalin, who was using people for fuel in the trains. He'd throw them in there with the penguins and the coal and these steam engines. And then you got people like Mao in China, who just rounded people up and shot them and took the uteruses out of women. Ladies and gentlemen, they're not teaching you this stuff here. They're teaching you how to be part of the system. They want you to get straight A's, a 4.5, go to Berkeley, and learn how to be part of the system and make the weaponry, and to implement the deployment of the weaponry. And if you're not such a high IQ, then what they'll do is they'll train you how to be part of the enforcement team, how to be part of the law enforcement, how to be part of the judicial system, how to be part of the prison system, how to take the entire thing and lock it down. Ladies and gentlemen, free speech is the last hope we have. Don't let anyone take that away. This is Joe Imbriano, another message out in front of Troy High School.